It's nearly 30 years since you did the Freddie tribute concert. It's
Yeah.
30 years next year, I think it is.
Wow.
He was 92, wasn't
Wow.
it? Which is insane. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a crazy one as well. Like to do that medley. You did a medley. I mean, how much did you have to rehearse for that?
yeah, we did a medley, got in trouble. We got in trouble for doing it because we were supposed to, Brian asked us to play to be extreme, and like Metallica went on, and then we all went on. Metallica was like us, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, like all Def Leppard within like, so we were just like, this is amazing. And
Yeah.
what do we do as Queen fans? I just had massive surgery. I'm wearing a brace. I'm in a studio in Florida, and me and Gary have this idea. I'm like, fuck doing our own shit. Let's pay a fucking real tribute. We're real Queen fans. Let's do what we want to do for Freddie, and let's put this little medley together. So yeah, we're rehearsing in a recording studio through glass in the control room in different places, and we're trying to work this thing out. The rest of the band all thinks we're crazy, but we're nailing it. We're doing it, and we're like, imagine going in. When we look back, we think about imagine going in front of not just Wembley Stadium sold out, which is enough, but the millions or a billion people, whoever was watching on television, and doing something that's not even yours and that you've never done live, and you're going to do it now. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, the chances of us fucking that up are pretty good, considering we only rehearsed it for a few days before, or a week off and on in between recording 3 sides to a restoring. So but when we told Brian, we wanted to tell Brian, and Brian is, if you look up in the dictionary and you look up the kindest human being on the planet, it'd be a picture of Brian. And when we told him, it was the first and last time I've ever argued with him, and how he was upset that we weren't doing us, that we were doing Queen, because he was like, I want to celebrate all these bands here, because then there was a place to do Queen, if you remember, at the end with all the heavyweights. The singers come up and do songs with the band Queen, the remaining members of Queen. So we were going against the rules, so to speak. And we were also doing a few of them that were in there at the end.
Oh, shit.
Which is a super no-no to do. And when we told him that, everything, and I wanted to tell him up front, not just like blindside him, but he was just like, he was so adamant about us not doing it, and please do what you guys do, and do whatever. And we weren't even doing more than words, nothing. But he finally said, look, this is your slot. You guys do what you want to do. He wasn't very happy with it, but he gave us, he gave us the blessing, And we went up, and we don't regret it. It was amazing. It was what those fans wanted to hear. I believe it was a true celebration of Freddie. And we were okay with doing it until 10 seconds before we did it. And then we kind of shat ourselves, thanks to Brian. When Brian went up and he introduced us,
Yeah.
and he said that fucking sentence, that we were like, okay, he's going to go up, he's going, these next guys, and he goes, we can hear it in the minds, like, these are real friends, and possibly the only band on this planet who truly knew what Queen are about and what Freddie was about. When he said that, the responsibility that happened all of a sudden, instead of just going and playing this thing, the responsibility that, like, my head, like my hairs on my arms were raising. I'm like kind of like, did he just say that? And also scared shitless at the same time. Like, he just put that on us. He goes, he basically said, all right, fuckers, you want to go up and pay tribute to Freddie and you think you can do this? Then go for it. But he knew what he said. I will fucking sit down with anybody. And it's true. We were obsessed with Queen. We used to have conversations with Brian about deep cuts and deep tracks that he was like, wait a second, what? We'd sing the whole front to back without stopping, a cappella of Queen to the Black Side. Like, he'd be like, how do you know this? Like, what are you doing? Like, and he knew. When I interviewed him, I got to meet him when I interviewed him for Guitar Magazine. They wanted to do kind of a young and up and coming with interviewing one of his legends. We were supposed to talk for 45 minutes, and you can tell, but I don't shut the fuck up, as you can tell. But we talked for almost 2 hours about just the albums and the deep cuts. He was like, oh, geez, I forgot about that, and that part, and that guitar solo, and that sound. So he knew what he said was correct. I'm not a fucking cocky, bragging human being, but he was right. And that's why we did that. We did that because it was in our hearts. It wasn't to show off. It wasn't to do that. It was really what we wanted to give back to Freddie. We wanted to do it for Freddie. We wanted to do it to show them, like, this is what we think about you. This is how much we love you. And then the fans were like, yes, yes.
So, Jesus Christ, that does take balls, doesn't it? That he said that to you, and then you still went up and did it. But so what was his reaction after?
Well, his reaction after was,
you've never seen him since.
yeah, I've been hiding from him since.
Yeah.
No, he was like, look, he was proud. I remember, you know what was one of the coolest little comments we had, and other than from the press or anything else, and you know, Elton John grabbing you off the side of the stage, and you know, one of the best makeout sessions you can have right on the lips is with Elton John, because he was so loving what you were doing. And you look over and there's David Bowie, right, you know, and Liza Minnelli and these people, and you're doing that. There was a different perception of when we walked off, of everybody was just like, almost like, that was, thank you. Like, almost like that was for them as well. Like, it was like, man, it was hearing Freddie in that way, in that medley, and Queen in that way, and us pulling off these crazy vocals. They were like, that's what we needed. And that's, you guys did you did what you wanted to do as an instinct, as a healing, in a healing sort of way. It wasn't just, fuck it, let's do Queen because it's a Queen tribute concert. No, it was, but the best comment we had was John Deacon, who's the quietest man on earth, bass player for Queen, of you who don't know. Literally, I saw him on the side of the stage, and I was walking down this hallway, and he came over. He goes, "Hey, you guys started your set while I was in the car on the way here, and I was listening to it, and I just really want to thank you for doing that." It was, he said, "I believe that you did today." I don't even know if I should say this out loud. It's a little bit bragatory, but he said quietly, he goes, "It reminded me of what we did at Live Aid when we came out. We just disrupted, and what you did today reminded me of that in a different way." But it was just, it felt like everybody went like, oh, like the audience all of a sudden celebrated for that moment. They weren't listening to all the bands. They were celebrating. It wasn't us. It was out of our hands. We were playing these songs, and when I tell you it was an out-of-body experience, you can see it on the video. There are times where I look like I'm a ghost. Like I'm looking at my hands, and I'm not playing anymore. I'm scared. Like, I feel like somebody else is doing it. Like, something is like, I felt what it felt like to funnel Freddie's energy, Queen's energy, because the fans took it over. When they started doing Radio Gaga with the hands, when they started singing Mustafa from the beginning, we were like, what did we get ourselves into? Like, this is not us anymore. Like, we're now fucking, like, we're a conduit to, like, everything that's happening up to this point. These songs are so much more powerful than we are, more powerful than the band themselves. The fans were like in that stadium going like, fuck, this is a celebration. I'm telling you, it was bizarre. I've never felt anything like that ever in my entire life, ever, since or before. You know,
incredible.
It was cool.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, yeah, you did a great job, and even if you did look like an accountant, what was that about?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because you're gonna take that back, young lady. You're gonna go. The reason I wore the red tie, and this thing is, it was actually because of John Deacon. He used to wear a tie. He used to wear, like, it was a little bit thing, and it was just the whole, this weird thing of like, I just wanted, in a very, when Queen did that period with their ties, and John had I was just like, I don't know why. It's so, you say that now, nobody's ever said that to me, and I was like, I still don't know why, but I know why.
No one's ever said that to you, really?
Nobody's ever asked me, what the fuck are you wearing? Why did you do it? You look like a fucking businessman with a tie on. What's going on? You know what? Everything about that day was absurd, bizarre, mental. You know, if I was thinking if Freddie was there, I don't know. It was just like, just go with whatever's happening and don't ask questions.